Okay, everybody, thank you for joining. The show's called Box Seats. This is the show where we talk about sports and comedians, with comedians, actually. And from that, we're going to have a great time. We got a lot of great guys ready to talk to us today. I'm sorry my promo didn't work, but you'll work on that tomorrow. First show back. Anyway, let me get ready to bring in some of the guys. I got to bring in a comedian from Boston. My man is one of the best comics known to me in the city of Boston. My man, Maurice Smith, also known as Mo Comic, with sit your ass down type of thing.
Sit your ass down, Frank.
How you doing, bro? How's everything?
I'm doing good, and you, man. Everything's good.
That's good. That's really good. I hope you had a great New Year. I hope everything's well. Everything well for you?
Yeah, everything was, man. You know what? At 10:30 New Year's Eve, I was asleep. Woke up 3:30 in the morning and went back to sleep.
And you missed the ball drop, all that, huh?
Okay. Man, I'm 57 years old. I've only seen 50-something balls drop. I'm done. I don't even want to talk about balls dropping.
Yeah, there you go. I also want to bring in my man. I call him my analytics dude. My man Stack. Stack, how you doing, bro? How's everything?
What's going on, Frank? I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, brother. Nice to be back.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for joining the show. I greatly appreciate you joining the show. We got to give a shout out to my man Kev behind the scenes. He's literally taking care of all the things behind the scenes for the show. So I also want to give a shout out to Steve. He's going to help us out with the production behind the scenes too, as one of the other producers. But first of all, before we dive into talking about sports with comedians, I got to give a huge shout out to my man who is known as, first of all, he's a comedian, he's a writer, he's an actor, he's been in the business for a long time, and I want to make sure I get all his stuff 100% correct before I even bring him in. I got to show him the utmost respect because I've been following this dude for years. His name is Tony Tone. He's been a comedian in the game. I first saw him on, I think it was Def Comedy Jam or Bad Boys of Comedy. At the time, those two shows mixed up for me, but I saw him a long time ago, years. He also, which I didn't know, was one of the ringmasters of Universal Soul Circus, and it's been on HBO, BET, TV One, and Prime Video. You all, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to one of the best comedians that I love personally in the country, Tony Tone. How you doing, bro?
Yo, Frank, how you doing, Frank? How you doing? You and the rest of the fellas there, how you doing? What's up, man? Thanks for having me on, man.
Thank you, bro. No, thanks for being in here, man. Thank you for joining the show, man. I greatly appreciate that. And you are my favorite Cowboys fan. I gotta shout that out, bro. You and I be going back and forth, so you know how.
Hey, Frank, I appreciate that, man. But I gotta ask you, going forward, can you ease up on the P Diddy Bad Boys of Comedy credit for right now?
No problem. No problem.
I don't know what's worse, the Cowboys fan part or the Bad Boys of Comedy part. I don't know what's worse.
Listen, for all intents and purposes, he destroyed on the stage. It could have been called anything. He destroyed on the stage.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, he destroyed on the stage.
Nice.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this out to you, man. I'm gonna talk to the fellas about this Tony Tone first, but you are the boxing expert on the panel, man. I want to make sure we hit you up first. Mo, I'm gonna throw this to you first. You tell me real quick what your synopsis was of something that Tony Tone loves. He's a boxer too. People don't know out there. If you don't know that, my man's a boxing expert. So I want him to have the final word. We all saw the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight a couple of weeks ago now? Was it a month ago? We all saw that, right? Right. We all had some issues that we thought were one way or the other about this. We weren't sure how we going to thought about everything else. Give me your quick recap, Mo, because I can't wait to hear what Tone got to say about this. Tony Tone got to say. My quick recap. Number one, I was surprised Mike, being the age he is, stayed up that late. I couldn't even stay. I didn't even see the fight. I was asleep before the fight started too. Number one. So I'm glad he stayed up past that hour just to get into the fight. I honestly think that this fight is set up so they can have two more fights to get a bigger bag. Jake wins this one. Mike wins the next one. And Mike fights for real on the third one. Let him know he's going to get his ass whipped. See, that's why I can't wait to talk to Tony Tone and ask him his opinion about it, because he's a boxer. I'm gonna get to Tony in a second, but Stack, tell me what your thought is about that, because I was thinking something completely different.
For me, not even so much on the sport aspect of boxing. Just for me, it was more of a historical moment. Like, I think that the new generation got a chance to take part in the excitement of a Mike Tyson fight. Because when I was growing up, and I was still pretty young in the 90s when when Mike was in his prime. But I remember the excitement surrounding those boxing matches, and I think that was just really good for boxing overall, just to get people to see that excitement all over again, and also just for Mike, like dude's been through a lot, and just to see the appreciation that he's gotten, back in the past generations, but also now in this one. So I thought it was a good look overall.
And now the boxing expert on the panel, the comedian on the panel, the man who knows everything. Tone, when you saw that fight, right, what was your initial take? Because my initial take was, wow, how did they get Mike to do that? He looked really bad to me after that. Give me all your synopsis, man, top to bottom.
Well, seeing Mike in the ring after those years, and after him and I fought, when me and Mike Tyson fought, now that sound pretty good. Did that sound convincing?
Yeah,
he looked totally different from when I fought him. No, I'm kidding, man. Look, if I fought him, I wouldn't be here right now. Honestly, man, I really hated to see Mike in that light because Mike had stipulations. I was hoping Mike would just say, you know what, forget about the stipulation. I'm going to kill him anyway. I don't care. I'm going to destroy Jake Paul, Jake the fake Paul, whatever you want to call him. But I was waiting for Mike to just go ballistic, but he didn't. And what it was, he had stipulations stacked against him. Mike, I know he was close to 60. He's what, 57, 58 years old?
Yeah.
Even at that age, with his experience, with Jake Paul's really lack of pro experience. Jake is not a pro. First of all, he's not a pro. So he's a novice in there with a former pro, but that former pro still had enough juice in him to get rid of him. I tell you, if they met on the street and there was no cameras, Mike would kill him. You know what I'm saying? So Mike held back. His age in this case to me wasn't really a real factor. I think Mike just he held back. It was stipulations in the contract where you notice he didn't throw his signature hook to the body, uppercut to the head. That's Mike's signature. He threw a hook to the body, then up to the head, uppercut. He didn't throw none of that. Even in his fresh, now it did look like his legs checked out. Early, but early on, now, even in Mike's prime, most fighters had a hard time getting past his initial onslaught. Mike's initial onslaught in round one, most fighters couldn't get past that. Mike, I think, still had that initial onslaught. He just didn't. They wanted to make a show where he got paid $20 million that he may or may not need it. I don't know. But he got paid $20 million to carry Jake. He carried Jake as well. Maybe Jake had to carry him in the end because, like I say, it looked like Mike's legs gave out on him. But I feel like Mike could have put him away. He didn't throw the punches that he could have thrown because Mike just wanted to carry it, make it look good, and he got his $20 million and he was gone. Honestly, I wanted Mike to kill Jake. Honestly, I'm not kill him literally, but put an end to him once and for all. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel Mike has. Trust me, man. If people feel Mike is washed up, I want everybody who think Mike is washed up to get in the ring with Mike themselves and try to prove that theory.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you one last question, then I want to jump to the NFL real fast. People have been debating on IG, on all social media all the time, fake versus real, fake versus real, fake versus real. You actually do this sport. Like if it's basketball, I can tell you if it's fake all day. Football, I can tell you it's fake all day. I couldn't tell, I basically couldn't tell. I was having difficulties trying to figure out if it was fake or if it was real, if it's set up. Like, what, you do this. When you walked away from that, what did you think?
When you know a fighter's tendencies or kind of recognize his tendencies, man, you can see little things moving in the ring where Mike, held back from throwing a punch or two here and there, where he could have, early on, I think he kind of like his instincts, his natural instincts. He caught himself a couple of times early in that fight. You can see what Mike like, okay, I forgot. Let me stick to the script. I'm gonna stick to the script. I really want to kill him. I could have killed him right here. I could have killed him right there. But let me stick to the script. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jake said it while he was in there. All right, Mike, remember the script. You know what I'm saying? So you could, from experience, you know natural boxing tendencies. They're like, okay, Mike was open. He could have thrown a punch right there. That's against a novice. Now, there are times if you're a pro fighting another pro, And Evander Holyfield even said that in an interview. He fought somebody and he was still fighting. This is when he was on his way out. He said, I saw the opening. I just couldn't pull the trigger. That's against another pro, but against a novice like Jake Paul, I mean, Jake Paul's in a weird spot. Jake Paul could probably take out a lot of people off the street, but he's not on a pro level either. You know what I mean? So I just think Mike just held back and carried it, man, and just went with the script, man.
I guess that's it. So the way you saw it, I guess that's what it is. Let's talk about the next thing, since I know that you got the NFL. You know, you follow the Giants and you follow the Cowboys. You follow the NFL. So this is what I got to ask you right now. Black Monday happened today, man. There were a couple of coaches who got fired today. Doug Peterson got fired from Jacksonville Jaguars. Gerard Mayo got fired yesterday. Matt Eberflus from the Chicago Bears. Dennis Allen from New Orleans Saints got fired. Robert Saleh got fired. Tone, get your thoughts together, because I got a couple of questions for you. Let me throw it out to Mo real fast. Mo, what's your thoughts right now? Everybody got fired, man. Do you think people are sitting there saying, yeah, we like all the firings? I know your team's the Giants right now. The Giants decided to keep Brian Daboll, which caused a lot of people upset and everything. As a Giants fan, you hear those firings. What's your thoughts on everything?
Well, I thought everything they didn't show up for work like they were supposed to. All those coaches that got fired, those are teams, well, except for Gerard Mayo. Gerard Mayo, I really feel bad for Gerard Mayo, because my job, other than comedy, is I cook. And I actually cook at Gillette Stadium. Frank can attest to it. I left Gillette Stadium in the beginning of the third quarter. When I got home and turned my TV on, he was fired. He was fired before the game even ended, I think. I don't know. That's just messed up how they did him. The rest of these coaches, a lot of coaches, they deserve to be fired. Chicago.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson said he was leaving week 2. He like, this is the worst season. He was in preseason talking about he having a hard time.
Right.
Man, listen. But the only thing about me with the NFL is all these guys that get fired that do these horrendous jobs end up with jobs next year.
Yeah, that's probably the only job where you can lose at, and then next thing you know, you can get a better job the following year. That's probably the only job. I don't understand how they do that. I don't know.
But everybody got fired except Brian Daboll.
Yeah, and Brian Daboll stayed. Here's the crazy thing, Mo. I'm gonna leave you with this one. Here's the crazy thing. Brian Daboll and the GM decided that they wasn't going to use Saquon Barkley, and Barkley ended up having a breakout year, and both those dudes still have their jobs. So what you say? I can't wait to get to Tone about that one, because Tone is a Cowboys fan, so we got to talk about that. Stack, hit me with something that that I wasn't thinking about or that I overlooked or something. Just what's your response to Black Monday today, bro?
It was to me. I think that was a lot of overreactions. I mean, all of these teams are pretty garbage anyway. I felt like these was just opportunities for guys to showcase if they can get a little bit out of these rosters, but none of these rosters, except for maybe the Jets, I wasn't really expecting much out of them. And then even with the Jets, with the whole Rodgers situation and all of that, they didn't really have a shot either. So yeah, this is kind of Black Monday's been kind of uneventful to me. The whole Mayo situation is kind of weird. I know that you're one of the people that kind of advocated for him to get fired. But in my opinion, I don't think anybody could have did anything with this roster. Early in the season, I said it was going to be 3 to 5 wins for the Patriots, and that's exactly what happened. And, when you trade away Matt Judon early in the season, your defense is shot. You don't have no receivers really like that. I mean, you drafted Jalen Polk. He didn't really turn out like that. Drake May was a hit. You take what you got, but I wouldn't have let him go this early, honestly. Other than that, I think it's all pretty uneventful. The rest of the teams are trash anyway.
I have to disagree with the Gerard Mayo thing situation for one reason only, bro, because the team was getting worse. The scheme was horrible. You know me. I was a diehard Patriots fan. I was upset. Man. I was so upset. I had to separate the word upset from up to just set, because I was set off, bro.
I had a question for you on that one. So what scenario would Gerard Mayo be able to win only 4 games and stay head coach?
If the Patriots were competitive in all the games, or competitive in 75% of the games, you know what I mean?
With that roster,
the roster we have now, the roster we got now.
One thing got him fired. What was
that?
he was an idiot for winning the last game. That's what got his butt fired.
Yeah, that's
It
the only
wasn't.
thing.
It had nothing to do with the season. If he would have just did what he was supposed to do, they told him when he came into the office. They said, "Look, lose the game, put your pride to the side." He's like, "No, my men need me. We got to go out to battle," and he got his ass fired.
All right, the star of today's show is Tony Tone. Tone, obviously, all these dudes got fired. Your coach is still there. I don't know how you feel about your coach for the Dallas Cowboys still being there. That's a whole conversation, bro. What's your thoughts?
Well, in the voice of Jerry Jones, I think that I made the right decision and keeping what's his name again? What's his name? Oh, Mike McCarthy. Because everybody knows that I'm the actual coach and GM and the owner and I'm the head offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I'm every goddamn thing on that team. And I just kept McCarthy around just to say I got somebody in that position. Now, let me stop, man. But let me start with Mayo. Mayo, I was really, of course, man, look, fellas, you already know, coming in, Gerard Mayo. First of all, I knew about Gerard Mayo because I'm a Tennessee Volunteer fan. He was a linebacker at Tennessee for years. Enjoyed him there. I was pulling for him as I pulled for all the brothers that move up the coaching ladder. And I knew he was already on a short leash being a head coach of any NFL team. But then he's at the New England Patriots, who got used to a long time of winning. So basically, in essence, he's following Belichick. And he was already on a short leash, man. And I feel like they should at least give him one more year. I feel like 3 strikes you out, honestly. 3 strikes you out. Give him 3 years and you're out. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. He might have been able to turn it around. So I feel bad for Gerard Mayo on that part. He didn't get a fair shake, I don't feel. You know what I'm saying? Eberflus, he had to go. He had to go. It was just awful. Eberflus had to go. Jacksonville, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach. But that's what everybody sees, Super Bowl winning coach and Doug Peterson. But look at the coaches he had around him that kind of possibly made him look that way. Almost like Parcells had Belichick as his defensive coordinator back when he was winning. So was it Parcells or was it Belichick? Was it Peterson or was it what's my man went up to coach the Colts? Frank Reich. He had Frank Reich and a couple of others on his staff. He had a conglomerate of coaches that you don't know who got most of the credit. So Doug Peterson, and then Jacksonville ain't really the best organization. They got one of the worst owners too. So, that's kind of a bad organization to try to turn around because they haven't been winners since what? Was that Tom Coughlin?
Yeah, Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, Tom Coughlin. And you already know Tom Coughlin was a cold coach. He was Bill Belichick's pale rider at New York. Man, Belichick hated to see Tom Coughlin coming. Boy, I love Tom Coughlin for that. I couldn't stand the Patriots back then. Sorry, Frank. Anyway,
don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
Even as a Cowboys fan, I was pulling for the Giants. but look, man. And then going back to that. Dayball, man, I was hoping Saquon would go ahead and just get the rushing record against the Giants. Sorry, Maurice. Sorry, Mo. But man, it would have been fitting. But anyway, Dayball kept his job. Mike McCarthy, and I'm gonna tell you what, Mike. Going back to Mike McCarthy too. I don't mean to jump around. Mike McCarthy is still there. People like he should have been fired. How much control did he have with Jerry Jones around? That's why Jerry Jones can't get a decent coach in there because he's in the way, man. He's in the way. Yeah. He's in the way. And Jerry's control is trickling down from hiring bubblegum coaches or coaches with their hands tied behind their back, and it's trickling down into the team. The team is soft, and man, we're gonna have a long time.
But y'all didn't see the news? Chicago just requested permission to talk to Mike McCarthy.
I saw that. I saw that. If I was Mike, I would take that opportunity to get the heck out of Dallas. But then again, who else Jerry gonna get? You know what I'm saying? I saw that news though. I saw that. I'm sure Mike gonna go up there too.
I'm gonna come right back to you with this next question because I really want to hear what your thought is. But let me first ask Stack. Stack, we saw the news today about the Dallas Cowboys bench Cooper Rush before he got his incentive. He was 52% there. He had to get 55% in order to get his incentive. Meanwhile, you flip the channel, literally, because I flipped the channels, and you see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers making sure that Evans gets his incentive. Literally, I was like, wow, and the Cowboys don't do this, and Evans does this. What's your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys making sure, or did they do that by mistake? Because obviously Jerry Jones came out and said, I know nothing about that. And with the incentives, I was like, yeah, right. Okay, go ahead, Stack. Give me your thoughts on that. Man.
I don't buy it was an accident. I think the Cowboys, they're the only garbage team that gets regarded like they're actually good. They're just as poorly run as the Jaguars, if you ask me. Wow. As long as Jerry's in the way, they're just like the Jags or the Bears or whoever. Granted, they do spend a lot more money than other teams, but it's just a routine for them to just make poor decisions. So I definitely don't think that this Cooper Rush situation was an accident. They probably feel like they're spending all this money on Dak, and he didn't even play, so they're gonna go ahead and stiff my boy Cooper just to recoup a couple of dollars, which I think is shady. I mean, that's the only way to put that.
I thought it was 100% shady too. Now let me get the Giants fan up in here, man. Honestly, he was 55% is all he had to get, and he would have got $500,000, bro. $500,000. All he had to do was start, play the game. He could have came out at halftime. And he would have got $500,000. It's not like he didn't need that money, bro.
Yeah, that's excuse me. That's messed up what they did to him. But honestly, why are we sitting here surprised? We talking about Dallas. Why are we sitting here? Why are we sitting here surprised? Why are we sitting here when the slow person walks out in the middle of the street and does something slow? We know it's Dallas, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's Jerry Jones all day long. We talk about the guy who allowed Derrick Henry to walk out of Texas to Baltimore. We talk about the man who said we're going to run it back with the same team we had last year. We talk about the man who was just impersonated by a very good comedian, and he did not tell no lie. He has a job on every single position there. He is not only the head coordinator, defensive coordinator, he is the #1 peanut shucker. He sells hot dogs too in between halftime, and he making sure the gates get open just before pregame. Huh? Jerry Jones, we shouldn't even be talking about, we should just wonder, when are the rest of the NFL owners going to get together and get rid of Jerry? That's what we need to be talking about.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me bring in the Dallas Cowboy fan and today's special guest, Tony Tone. What's your thoughts on this, bro?
Well, again, I'd like to say that I wear all the hats of my team, but I still had no idea about the incentives that Rush was supposed to have, and Rush knows he knows where he stands with my team, me and my team, and I'm sure Rush won't have a problem. Him and I have talked, and I wouldn't be surprised really if he just rushed on to another team, and if that's the case. If that's the case, I think Lance showed enough in that last game, and that we can keep him and Dak, and eventually have Trey take over. And all the rest of the haters on here, that guy, what's his name, Stocks or Stacks or whatever, he said my team is garbage. I tell you what, you show me a garbage team that sells more tickets, even we can go 0-17 and we will still outsell whatever teams you have. That's my brand, and I stand by it. God darn it, you god darn right.
You get an applause for that one, bro. Like, that was good. Yeah, really good, Jerry Jones impersonation. Now, but coming back to reality, bro, you know your team was wrong for doing that. You know they did.
Oh man, no doubt, man. And I like Cooper Rush too. Actually, he's one of the better, more dependable backups in my opinion. And yes, Jerry did Cooper Rush wrong, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coop just decided to fly the Coop. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Get up out of there, Coop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, man, look, I love my Dallas Cowboys. I never liked Jerry Jones from the day one, from the way he came in and did Landry. I've never been a Jerry Jones fan. I've always liked the Cowboys, but Jerry Jones, man, he's making it hard to be a Cowboys fan. And that was dirty, man. Everybody's talking about it. I did see videos about it. And Jerry was dead wrong what he did to Cooper Rush. And if I was Coop, I wouldn't be surprised if he just got up out of there, man. Like, yo, I gotta go, man. So, you know, Jerry and Steven gonna be left running plays themselves with the Cowboys. They're gonna run everybody away, man.
I definitely see that happening. Let me move on, man. I gotta, because I know you can't stay the whole show unless you can stay. But I definitely want to ask you this last question, and then we'll circle back to the NFL. This one just jumped in my mind today, and I saw this. Skip Bayless, Tone. I don't know if you saw this news, but Skip Bayless literally was accused of offering a Fox Sports employee, nobody knows who it is, $1.5 million for sex. It's trending all over social media now. People are saying, nah, it don't happen like that. It didn't happen like that. Ladies are not doing that. And Tone, I'm going to leave that with your last question of the day. Do you honestly believe this story? Because Shannon Sharp was asked this today by Ocho Cinco. Like, what, dude, was it you? What happened? Was it you? What, you know, so Tone, what you think, man?
Well, I still say that I did not. No, I'm stop. Please, Skip. Hey, look. I believe it. I can believe it, man. I don't know who the female employee was, but whoever she is, I would never want to meet her or any woman that a man feel like he had to spend $500,000 or $1.5 million on. That must be the best golden egg, pixie dust flying from the vagina area. That if you feel you want to pay that much for, she must got like some of the best oral skills to no, but really that kind of money. Hey, Skip. Hey man, Skip gave in, man. Look. Let me tell you something. At any company, I don't care where it is, it can be Amazon or whatever. Human nature gonna take over. Men and women were wired to be attracted to each other. Skip gave in. I'm not justifying what Skip did because he's married, but I doubt if Skip's wife looked like the woman that Skip was gonna offer the money to. And he gave in. He probably watched this woman every day walking around the studio. I'm like, I've gotta offer some money. I gotta take a shot. I'm gonna be out of here soon. You know, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's just, hey, that's how it is, man. And then you got all these people around each other with money and attraction, and it's bound to happen, man. So I don't think Shannon had anything to do with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Shannon was clear of that.
Yeah.
Come on, Skip. Come on, Skip.
So, man, thank you for taking the time out to join the show, man. I really greatly appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, what you got coming up, man? Give a shout out. Anywhere. I know you got a film, anything coming out, man. Anything you look forward to?
Well, film wise, I haven't shot anything in a while, but I do have a series that's coming out that I did shoot. Finally coming out called Welcome to the 40s. It's like a black Sex in the City. It circulates around these 4 black sisters came up, and I'm one of the husbands of one of the sisters, and I got that, and then of course my stuff is going around on Prime Video now, called The Drone That Saved Christmas, and right now I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, getting ready to work with Don DC Curry, the legendary Don DC Curry, aka Uncle Elroy. We're about to work Good Nights here in the Raleigh Durham area. So come out and check us out there. Then after that, we're going down to Charlotte, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone after this weekend. So yeah, that's pretty much it right now, man.
Tell everybody how they can follow you, bro.
You can follow me on Instagram at Tony Tone Comedy, TonyTone Comedy, at Tony Tone Comedy on Instagram, Comedian Tony Tone on TikTok, Comedian Tony Tone, and Tony Llewellyn on Facebook. And oh yeah, my MySpace and my Black Planet. No, I'm kidding, man.
So, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate you joining the show, man. I hope to catch up with you soon.
Thanks for having me. Hey, good to meet Stacks and Mo too, man. Good to meet y'all, man.
Good to meet you too.
All right, y'all take care, man. All right.
Take care. So, guys, this is where we at. We are at right now with a situation where Black Monday has happened. Black Monday is flowing through. I'm gonna come back to the Skip Bayless question in a second. Black Mondays happen. We've got the NFL playoffs kicking off. But the news today that was exploded to me today was Tyreek Hill saying the stuff that he said when the cameras came on to him about the Miami Dolphins wanting to be out on that. To me, I thought that was huge because if Tyreek Hill wants to get out, where do you see him playing at, Mo? Because he's definitely gonna be traded.
New York Giants. We gonna get the New York. No, we gonna give him the third pick, and some no, we gonna get Tyreek Hill. No, you know what? It's you can't just Tyreek Hill is one of them players that you can just throw him on any team, and all of a sudden that team becomes a contender.
Right.
You know, he can go to Chicago right now. With them having that record. I mean, imagine Tyreek Hill all of a sudden somehow slipping to Detroit for next year. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that's the one thing I think Detroit lacks is that speed in the game where they can just have that speed threat. They can pound you and bang you. Imagine Tyreek Hill if he slips into Pittsburgh. And Russell Wilson stays another year. He can fit anywhere, man. He's a universal piece. He just didn't want to be in Miami no more. I think he just went about it the wrong way.
I think so too. Stack, I'm gonna just throw this out to you. I think so too. I think people got to be aware of one thing too, man. It's that contract. It's $25 million this year and $55 next year. You know what I mean? So if you get him, you better make sure you can afford him. But what's your thoughts on Tyreek Hill quitting on the Dolphins, and where do you expect to see him?
First of all, I didn't know that he's due $55 million next. If I'm Tyreek, I'm staying in Florida because they don't have the state income tax. So right. I'm staying there just for that reason alone. But where would I like to see him? Probably, I think the Commanders. I want to see him get paired up with one of these young quarterbacks, you know. And I think the Commanders would be a nice one for him. I know Giants fans probably don't want to see that, but him and my boy Jaden McDaniels, I think that'd be a good look. I mean, obviously,
you
know.
Yeah,
but I mean, now naturally, as a homer, I wouldn't mind seeing him in New England, but you know, I just don't think that's going to happen, even though we do got the money for it. But yeah, I think Washington would be a good fit, or Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, with that new QB.
With Penix.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh, that's that is.
I'm out here in Atlanta right now, so that would give me a little bit more incentive to go up the street to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So yeah.
Still, Stack. If you see him landing, let's say in Atlanta, let's say honestly, you just about almost any other team. Do you think it will have some repercussions on the team? You think, you know, because you know they say he's a cancer. They say Stephon Gibbs is a cancer. They're going around. You know, people talking about cancer, some cancer wide receivers. You think he's one of those guys?
No, I don't think he's one of those guys, even though he had kind of a unceremonious exit from was he on Kansas City before, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he's a cancer. If anything, he made them better. He made Tua look good just because of the way he stretched the field and got other guys open because of the distraction that he is, his speed and just the deep threat. So no, I don't think he's a cancer as when it comes to the X's and O's. And I don't think he really said anything too wrong. He just said, hey, I'm done with it. I mean, this is the Dolphins. Let's be honest. They haven't won in a long time, you know, and as they're set up right now, it seems like, you know, they're not going anywhere fast. That I don't really know. I don't see no culture. There's no reason to stay. I get where he's coming from with that.
Yeah, 100%. Now let's circle back. I'm gonna come back to the obviously I'm gonna come back to this question and everything else, but let's circle back to Skip Bayless, Mo, because I got ask you guys what you guys thought about this, because the Skip Bayless situation seems to be growing every day, every hour as the days go along, with innuendos on who he slept with, who's the employee, who's the you know what I mean? Any thoughts on this? Because Shannon Sharp, looks like he's upset about this because he keeps getting asked about this, So what's your thoughts, Mo?
I'm just trying to figure out, because I know Shannon Sharp was up in the club saying the same thing when they all say. They said it ain't tricking if you got it.
That's true. That's true.
Don't they all say that? Now all of a sudden it's tricky because he got caught out there, or I don't know what happened that made the news pop. But Shannon Sharp, Shaquille O'Neal, all of it, even Ernie from the TNT club with the bow tie up in the club, toss some money, yelling, "It ain't tricking if you got it."
Right.
Skip been around enough black people. He said it too. He said they said it ain't tricking if you got it. And look at Skip. Does Skip look like he gonna actually go out and get some trim from someone if he wasn't Skip Bayless? Skip Bayless don't look like he got some game. No, all he got is he looked like he been buying it all his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we surprised once again. It ain't tricking if you got it.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. You and I were talking about this. Stack, talk to me, man. What was you had a couple of things I didn't even know about. So
yeah, I'm not really surprised by this, and I don't have no dog in this fight. I'm not even gonna try to stand up and defend Skip in this situation. I don't know if he did or if he didn't do it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And then I guess so part of the lawsuit, there's Joy Taylor, who's a very beautiful newscaster on Fox. She was on Instagram last year, right? She was talking about, ladies, how they like to, they should admit that they break the rules for guys if he's attractive enough or funny enough or rich enough. She told ladies, she was like, yo, stop lying. So it's very interesting. And, we've seen her on a few outings with Shannon Sharp in the past. So I think that's just part of the culture. I understand that, it's disrespectful to assume that any woman that makes it in any industry that sleep her way to the top. But I am going to say that there are women that do that, and there are men that take advantage of it, and there are men that gatekeep and set it up so that women have to do that to make it ahead. So that's why I'm just like, hey, this just seems like it just kind of comes with the territory. And if Joy, who's at Fox and is a part of this, part of the lawsuit is literally saying that she was sleeping with people to get up to make it as far as she did. So it's kind of interesting. And then Skip one time when Shannon Sharp had went out to a game with her, called it a date on the show. It was like, oh yeah, you guys went on a date. So I'm like, maybe he was salty. Like Skip might have been feeling some type of way because I guess she slept with Emmanuel Acho, his name, that dude. I guess.
Oh really?
Supposedly too, and. So he's probably like, dang, everybody else up in here getting some trim. I might as well give me a little something too, like.
Yeah.
That's right. It ain't tricking if you got it.
It definitely is not. Definitely is not. All right, let me jump back to the playoffs, man. The NFL playoffs, because we talked about Tyson. We talked about a little bit of NFL playoffs. There's a couple of playoff matchups that are happening this weekend. I know a couple of you all here got some expecting things that you all looking forward to. There's a lot of games that's coming up this weekend. Now, I'm looking forward to the Ravens-Steelers game, and I'm looking forward to the Broncos-Bills game. That's the big games that I'm looking forward to. If you're sitting at home and you don't know, obviously the Rams are playing the Vikings. Also, the Buccaneers are playing the Commanders. The Eagles are playing the Packers, and the Texans are playing the Chargers. But to me, the two biggest games that I wanted to circle that everybody got their eyes on is probably the two games that everybody is saying, and I heard it all day, that people talking about the upset thing. So I'm going to start with you, Stack, since I got you up, man. Do you, between the Ravens and the Steelers and the Bills and the Broncos, you expect to see an upset there, or what's your thought on that?
I don't see an upset there. I think the only upset that is most likely to happen is probably going to be between the Packers and the Eagles, and I think that Green Bay has a legit shot to go into Philly and beat those guys. I think that Baltimore wins out. They just thrashed the Steelers by 17, a couple weeks ago on the 21st of December. Even though the first time they played, it was a close game. And this last game was pretty close, but I feel like the Steelers don't score enough points, to be honest, to beat Baltimore, especially in Baltimore at this time of the year. And in the Broncos, I like Bo Nix and all, Sean Payton, but I think Josh Allen is having a fine season and just playing in that cold, even though Denver's cold too. I think Buffalo's going to take care of business. So, yeah, I don't see no upset unless maybe the Packers do it.
All right. I want to talk about the NBA now, unless, Mo, you want to answer that question too, because I want to jump into the NBA. You want to answer that question? You're big upset?
I do see one upset. Buffalo's getting upset by Denver.
Oh, okay. All right.
Buffalo's going to get upset. Denver's going to shrink that field on them. Buffalo. Josh Allen's not going to be able to do what he usually does. Watch what they do.
All right. So now let's move on to the NBA, because Jason Whitlock put out a very interesting video. He was talking about load management, and he went on and on and on about load management, about the teams, and he absolutely hates it. He's talked on and on about how people like LeBron, went to one team and had the team built up, and he just named the whole list and everything else, and he kept referring back to the days and everything else. I want to talk to you guys about and say, what's your thought on this load management, Mo? Because at the end of the day, he thinks it's changed the entire league as we know it from the 90s, where it was at the 90s when everybody wanted to fight and compete against each other versus everybody playing together. You know what I mean? He 100%, is against it. And I understood his argument. Your argument would be what?
My argument would be, first of all, we need to call Greg Popovich to smack his ass. He's the one that started this load management thing.
Really?
It started in San Antonio when he would arrest Tim Duncan, but to his defense, he would put out a second string that could start and usually won the game. Now it just took over. I mean, the league, I'm tired of what's going on in the league. Just period.
I don't know if I agree with that statement, Mo, because he drafted Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? He stole that draft pick from the Celtics. He drafted Tim Duncan while they had David Robinson. So I don't think he load managed. You know what I mean? He did it by draft.
No, but he started. It started with Popovich. I remember when Popovich was the first one that did it because the league wanted to find him like so many thousands of dollars for not playing players during a regular season game, and he was like, "Well, they're my players." I know he drafted him, but that load management started with him, and then it took off. But all these different things in the league, I guess my biggest gripe with the league right now is the All-Star game. The All-Star game, the NBA used to be the best All-Star weekend out of all sports, out of baseball, football, basketball was number one. And then I'm not a big I'm a Stephen A fan. I don't always agree with him, but he said something that made sense. These guys play harder against each other in the summertime than they do at the All-Star game. And tickets for the All-Star game ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, them tickets, man, you could buy a ticket up in the nosebleed is damn near a small trailer home in North Carolina.
Yeah, I can't even dispute that. I can't dispute that at all. Yeah, I think he on to something, Stack. I think he on to something. What you think about this load management situation?
See, I think just in general, the whole NBA, the decline of the quality of the NBA is a big talking point just in general right now. So, hearing Whitlock's takes, I feel like it's a lot of the same stuff we hear everybody saying. I think some of it is true, and then a lot of it is just, pardon my French, but just the old heads, man, they want the game to stay the same way it was in the 90s, right? Or the 80s. And the truth is the NBA has evolved. I think that the league has different priorities right now, as far as I think their real mentality is really geared towards expanding the NBA internationally. I think that's what they want to do, and I think that's their focus right now. The players are prima donnas right now, but these dudes are getting paid now $60 million a year. You know what I mean? So and I'm not saying that's an excuse, but and then also this isn't. And you may not agree. I feel like the NBA now, it's a different game, as in like the pace of the game. Like it's easier to get injured now. I mean, back in the day, you could go in the paint and get clotheslined or whatever like that. Now you can literally get crossed out of your shoes. Like dudes is getting crossed up, spraining ankles, pulling Achilles. Like it's a totally different game now. As far as like the lateral movements left and right versus just going straight, at the basket or away from the basket. So I think that's increased the likelihood of injuries. And then you see guys' careers get sidelined. Stars, Derrick Rose, right? Kobe, Brandon Roy, D Wade, Shaq. Like, look at these guys. T-Mac, their careers, Grant Hill getting shortened as the game has evolved to this new style. So I think that the load management thing kind of had to happen. You look at Popovich; he had to do that with Kawhi Leonard. He did it with Tim Duncan. But look at Kawhi Leonard. Look at this dude has no knees. He has no knees, but he played some good basketball. I think, and also as far as the players being the prima donnas and this and that and unlikable, I blame the old school for that too, because the scrutiny the scrutiny of all the new guys that came in, like they don't want to admit it now, but look at how they talk bad about Kobe. I remember when Kobe had the first three-peat, like all my homies that are uncles, cousins, whatever, 80s, 70s dudes was talking big trash about Kobe. They hate anybody who does good. They just hate him. LeBron can't stand him, right? And I think, and then also, we're going to count rings, right? We're going to talk shit about you for staying, if you don't stay with the same team. So these dudes is probably just like, you know what? Forget it. We're not going to keep the media happy anyway. We're not going to keep the fans happy anyway. So I'm going to just do what works for me. And I think that's the product of what the media frenzy and the fans have created for them. So it's everybody's going to have to get in on it if we want to go back to these classic NBA euphoria that we used to have.
So you talked about a couple of things, Mo. He brought up a couple of issues. I don't necessarily agree with everything he said. He brought up a couple of things. One thing he brought up real fast was players today being liked more today than they used to be. That was one point that Jason Whitlock said. I personally was one of the people who think that social media is the reason why people like players more today than they did in the 80s and 90s, because the players, they haven't changed. I know a lot of players then. I know a lot of players now. They haven't changed. You know what I mean? It's just that social media is the one thing. That's my take. What's your take on this right now, on this Jason Whitlock interview? And do you want to respond to what Stack said about, and do you agree or disagree with what Stack said?
Well, I'm going to say this about Stack, what you were saying about the old school, because I'm from that old school. I'm from that Moses Malone, Patrick Ewing, era. But I appreciate where the game is now. All those guys that are complaining, those are guys who couldn't play when they were young anyway. They couldn't play ball, but they didn't get chose in the game. So they were haters back then. And Frank, yeah, you're right. Players are more, they're not more likable, they're more accessible because of social media. So it's easy to know what your player does in the offseason. We didn't know about a lot of things with players in the offseason. The league is going to be international. I think what really has messed up the league, though, other than them not playing as hard, I'm not a big fan of the load management. When you sign that contract, you sign that contract to play. When I bought that ticket to go to MSG or TD Garden or Phillips Arena or wherever else I'm going to be at, I expect to see Trey or Jason Tatum or Brunson for the Knicks. I expect to see them because that's what I paid for. I didn't pay for anything. I paid to see these people play.
So where are you at with the load management? Because the Knicks are trying to do that right now. That's what the Knicks are trying to do right now.
The Knicks don't do load management. The Knicks,
but they are trying to put the super.
Thibodeau needs to do load management because he's the opposite of load management.
He's a complete opposite. I don't even know what you're talking about, Frank.
No, the Knicks are trying to do not load management. The Knicks are trying to do super teams. They're trying to put teams together with Jalen Brunson.
Wait. Now, GMs putting together a team is different than players getting together and saying we're gonna play together. Okay. That was the Knicks put together. I mean, they've been trying to put together a super team. The first super team that I remember was Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler, when they all went to Houston to help get Barkley a ring, and they still didn't win.
That definitely wasn't. 100%.
It's not like we haven't. I mean, it was a super team when they brought in Moses Malone to play in Philadelphia with Dr. J. That was a super team back then. Super teams are not new.
Yeah. So is Philly the cause of this? I mean,
thank you.
No, we can't point and say who's the cause. We can all say that it's just isn't new with the GMs. GMs have been trying to put together super teams since the NBA was made, or the ABA or whatever. Look at with the Knicks with Clyde Drexler and Earl Pearl Monroe. That was one of the best backcourts and one of the top 5 backcourts ever. Super team.
Yeah.
But when players get on the phone and say, we're gonna go here, or we're gonna all get together here, and then we're gonna win 1, not 2, but 3, 4, 5 rings, then there's a problem. Then we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because now the inmates are running the facility.
All right. So let's in the same debate, in the same conversation with the super teams. It comes now another problem that happens with the super teams. That other problem is 3-point shooting, which has now got the game to where the game is, where you're talking about everybody does the swing the ball around the top of the key into the open man. Nobody attacks the basket and kicks it out like the way they used to in the more, because the triangle offense, we all know this, triangle offense in the late 80s, early 90s, hell, up into the 2000s was what a lot of teams was trying to do. A couple of teams won some championships by using the triangle offense. For those of you at home don't know the triangle offense goes like boom, boom, boom. Guard, forward, center back to guard, or back to forward, and whoever has the open lane to take the open shot, they go and they basically crash the boards. That has completely changed 100%. Now it's, hey, we're going to shoot 63s, 73s, and we know we're going to win. I.e., look at the Celtics last night. The Celtics only got 19% in 3-point shooting, and they lost against OKC, a game they should have won, but as soon as they got cold in the fourth quarter, they lost. So, Stack, what's your thoughts now? Because the super teams has created the NBA 3-point. It's snowballing.
Nobody had a problem with the 3-point shooting when
preach. When Golden State was doing it,
State Warriors was doing it.
I said the same thing.
Nobody had a problem with 3-point shooting when the Dallas Mavericks shot Kobe and them out the gym in the Western Conference Finals right after Kobe won a ring with Powell and them. You had Jason Terry, Jason Kidd, Sean Marion, Dirk Nowitzki, MVP. They had Peja Stojakovic on that team, Karan Butler.
Yeah.
Did I say Jason Terry? Yeah. They was lighting it up from three.
And they beat the Heat that year, right?
They beat the Heat. That was LeBron's first trip when he lost to them. So I don't know, man. I think it has something to do partially. I mean, I do understand what they mean because I do watch some games, and there are teams that really don't have an offense, and they are just chucking up threes.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks for those teams. But when you look at the efficient 3-point shooting teams like the Celtics, they do drive and dish. Mm-hmm. They do have post players. They do play defense. They do have pick and rolls. And they are moving the ball and getting open shots. But the Spurs used to do it too when they had Tony Parker, Ginobili, and all them guys. They were shooting tons of threes also. I mean, wasn't it?
Now's the problem, though. Now's the problem, though, Stack, because the Celtics is winning. But that's a whole nother conversation for another.
Well, because anything, whenever, the media.
Here y'all go.
New York runs the media, right? New York and LA.
Yeah.
Neither one of those cities like Boston very much. So
but now let me throw this because we I'm looking at the time. Mo, we got we can continue this conversation to tomorrow's show because I definitely want to do that. But I want to get your thoughts process on this one too. Here's another problem that I had with Jason Whitlock interviews. Another one. He was saying there's too many foreigners in the NBA right now playing, and my take was. Literally, I think that this dude literally is smoking crack. Because to me, if you ask me, the foreigners is making the NBA much better. And I would love to see, me personally, I would love to see teams, that created from England or Europe, anywhere to play in the NBA.
That's next. That's what
I'm hoping for. And that's what Jason Whitlock is hoping against. He doesn't want that. He wants to stay American. And my thing is this, Mo. When you hold up that trophy, the NBA World Championship, it doesn't say NBA State Championship. It says NBA World Championship. You got other players from the world. You could literally say, yeah, we beat the best players in the world. What's your thoughts on this, Mo?
David Stern, genius. When he started to make the NBA international, that was one of his biggest push. Once he was able to get a face for the NBA, starting with Bird and Magic and then going into Jordan, his next thing was let's take this thing global because he saw that. He saw where Michael Jordan was going with or without the NBA. He was going to be global. So let's hitch it on and let's make this thing global. And it needs to be global because you're right. You can't be the world champs if you only beat people within 50-something states. You can't be the world champions. You just can't. But I just want to say this, though. Why is it every time when people complain about sports, Boston fans take it as a personal jab? Your guys are the only ones that walk into the room and automatically say, y'all don't like us, huh? Ain't nobody even noticed you was there yet.
Okay.
But y'all think nobody don't like you.
I'll answer it.
Y'all think
Go
I'm like
ahead.
y'all
Go
said,
ahead.
oh, everybody talk about we had the easiest trip to the finals. Oh, everybody saying that the 3-point shooting is because of Boston. All of a sudden now, because Boston shooting all these shots, it's too much 3-point shooting. Oh, shut your ass down.
Let me ask you a question, Mo.
Mo, let's stack answer that.
Why did everybody pick Dallas to win?
Good question.
If there was no bias against Boston, why would we watch ESPN literally on First Take this past June? Everybody picked Dallas to win the finals.
Because you're dealing with one of the guys who is one of the most freakish of nations in ball, playing ball, number one with Kyrie Irving and with Luka. Like you that
same team couldn't do nothing with Boston during the regular season.
They couldn't. They couldn't. It was, you know what? I picked Dallas to win. You're right. I don't like Boston. I don't like the Celtics.
You just made that point.
Y'all make it that way because y'all always walking into the room. Y'all walk into the room and be like, Boston's here.
The champ is there. What did the kid say? What'd he say? What'd he say?
Yeah, Mo, what'd he say? What'd he say?
Where's he from?
He's from New York.
All right, then leave it at that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. He don't got a problem saying the champ is here. We ain't going up. We gonna have a problem either. Hey, look.
No, y'all won. Y'all are the defending champs.
On their run, when the New York Yankees was on their run, New York fans was the same way. The only problem is y'all haven't dominated no sport lately. That's really what's going on right now. But when the Yankees was on their run, couldn't tell y'all nothing either. I remember when I got to college, I moved to Atlanta from Boston in 2005, man. New Yorkers was on cloud nine, still, even though the Red Sox had just got one in 2004. But the New Yorkers was still riding high. Then the Giants won in 2007, and they was still kind of. But since then, it's kind of been like,
I love Boston. I have a joke I say about I love Boston. And I don't like none of the team because I'm just bred from New York no matter what. I wouldn't care where I live at. I'm not switching. But I love Boston people. You know why I love Boston people? Y'all are the coolest, flyest, looking for any reason to fight motherfuckers I ever met in my life. That's all y'all look to do is fight. That's why we don't like Boston. That's why people don't like. What happened with the rap groups in Boston? Why didn't they blow up? Because every time they went to the party and what? They had what was that? Made Men and all them. Why didn't they blow up? Because they always wanted to fight. They always wanted to fight. Antonio Saldi had a great clothing line. Why he didn't blow up? He always wanted to fight. Always wanted to fight. Okay. That's what y'all are known for.
All right, I'm gonna wrap this up now. Because we get ready to wrap up and get out of the show. I want to thank you guys for joining the show. We're coming back again tomorrow. We're doing the same time. We're gonna have a lot to discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow, I got 17-year vet in the NBA, Olden Polonies, joining the show for the first time. He wants to be one of the hosts and everything. We're looking forward to having him host. I got to thank my man Tony Tone for joining the show. I greatly appreciate Tony Tone for taking the time out where he was at. He's on the road. I didn't even know he was Universal Soul, host. And that's a whole nother conversation. I didn't even know that. I got to thank my man Stack, who's down in Atlanta, joining the show. He's gonna be my Stack. I'm gonna change his CK to T. STAC, because he got statistics all day. Thank you for joining the show, Stack. I appreciate you, man. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Yeah, y'all can check me out at Stack A Nova. That's just Stack A Nova on Instagram or Twitter. I usually be on the gram, though. That's where you'll find me. Thank you,
Mo, the comic, my man Maurice Smith. He's a comic, he's a cook, and you got a show coming out real soon too, don't you? I'm liking what I saw, man. Tell me how to follow you. Go ahead.
Well, first y'all can follow me on MOE_comic on Instagram, Maurice Smith on Facebook. And I got a show coming out. It's gonna be short clips called Dysfunctional Referee. Because just imagine, even though during the football season, who gets more hell? Nobody gets more hell than who? The referee. Imagine what his voicemail sounds like on Monday morning.
I'm trying to tell you. My name is Frank. I'm going to just go with that from now. I was going to go with Frank Swami, but I've been losing so bad lately, I can't even do that.
He said Frank Swami.
Yeah, because I was winning. I was winning.
He said,
now it sucked. I was winning.
Hop on Prize Picks, man. Hop on their DraftKings or something, man.
Yeah, I might have to do that. Anyway, y'all, this is the show called Box Seats. What we're going to do, we're going to do this show every day. We are going to make sure we hit you over the head at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6. Thanks to my producers, Steve, back home, obviously, as the producer of the show. I'm going to call him Negative Ned. But when I introduce him in the show, he's going to be my white boy. That's my white boy right there. That's when I bring him in, y'all going to see. And also, big shout out to my man, Kev Lane. He's also one of the producers of the show. Thank you guys for doing this, helping us put this together. We're going to be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Thank you guys. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.